Right now, somewhere on Earth, a fully grown adult human is standing next to a bison the size of a small car. And they are thinking, I wonder if he'd let me pet him. Not a child, an adult, with a functioning brain, who has presumably seen a bison before. Every year, people try to pet deer, foxes, bears, seals, raccoons, and animals that look like evolution specifically designed them to say, please do not touch me. Zoos build barriers. National parks put up signs, wildlife experts give interviews, and it doesn't matter, because something deep inside the human brain looks at a wild animal, even a dangerous one, and says, go say hello. Why? Why do humans want to touch everything alive? The answer goes back much further than you'd expect, and it explains a lot more than just bad decisions at zoos. Think about what your brain does when you see a dog on the street. You don't analyze it. You don't think, that is a Canis lupus familiaris, and I should evaluate whether interaction is appropriate. You just want to pet it, immediately, without thinking. And if the owner says yes, something small but real happens inside you. A tiny release, a moment of calm. That reaction didn't come from nowhere. It was built into you, slowly, over hundreds of thousands of years. And understanding why it exists will completely change how you see your relationship with every living thing around you. For nearly all of human existence, the world looked nothing like it does today. No roads, no buildings, no screens, no cities. Just plants, animals, rivers, insects, birds, and whatever was hiding in the grass nearby. Survival meant paying attention to living things constantly. A circling vulture could reveal a nearby carcass. Sudden silence from birds meant a predator was close. Following animal tracks could lead to food or water. Reading the natural world wasn't a hobby, it was survival. And over thousands of generations, something remarkable happened. Human brains became extraordinarily sensitive to life. So sensitive, in fact, that we started detecting it even where it didn't exist. People give names to their cars. They apologize after bumping into furniture. They feel guilty throwing away a plant that's already dead. Show someone 3 moving dots on a screen. Just dots, and within seconds they'll start inventing personalities. They're dots, but your brain doesn't care. Because for hundreds of thousands of years, assuming something was alive when it wasn't, totally harmless. Assuming something wasn't alive when it actually was, potentially your last mistake. Evolution rewarded the brain that paid attention. But noticing animals is different from wanting to touch them. In the 1980s, biologist E.O. Wilson proposed something called the biophilia hypothesis. Humans may have an innate biological attraction to living things, not because nature is fashionable, not because animals are entertaining. Think about what makes you feel calm. A walk in a park, watching fish in an aquarium, sitting near a river, having a plant in your room, petting a dog after a bad day. The person stopping to watch birds outside their window isn't being weird, they're being human. But here's where it gets really interesting. Not all animals trigger the same reaction. A baby rabbit hits differently than a full-grown rabbit. A puppy gets more attention than a wolf. A panda cub can practically shut down the internet. Among all mammals, human babies take the longest to grow up. Years of total helplessness, years of needing constant care. Anything that made adults want to care for babies became extremely valuable for survival. So babies evolved features that hijack adult attention almost automatically. Large eyes, round faces, tiny noses, soft, chubby cheeks, small everything. These features don't just look cute, they trigger something neurological. And here's the thing nobody expects. Those same features appear across hundreds of species. They all share the same proportions that human babies have. When you see a golden retriever puppy, your brain doesn't say, that's a dog, not a baby. It says, protect, immediately. And sometimes, the reaction gets so intense it becomes genuinely strange. Scientists have a name for it: cute aggression. If you have ever looked at a puppy and thought, I want to squeeze him, you've experienced it. You don't actually want to hurt it. The opposite. But the feeling is real. Researchers believe this happens because cuteness causes massive emotional overload inside the brain. Your emotional systems become so activated that they need somewhere to go. The aggressive impulse, the squeezing, the pinching, functions as a pressure release valve. It's why people say things like, you're so cute I could die, or I want to eat him. Nobody means it literally. The point is, cuteness hits the human brain much harder than we usually admit. Nobody looks at a grizzly bear and thinks it's a baby. Nobody confuses a lion with a stuffed animal. Yet people still want to pet them. Why? First, touch itself. Humans are one of the most physically social species on Earth. Touch builds trust. Touch reduces stress. Touch strengthens bonds, and because humans are wired for social touch, we extend that instinct outward. Once your brain decides an animal feels relatable, once it starts assigning it a personality, imagining what it might be thinking, touching it stops feeling strange. It feels like saying hello to someone. Second reason, controlled danger. Psychologists have known for a long time that humans are attracted to managed risk. Roller coasters, horror movies, standing at the edge of a cliff. Because fear and excitement feel almost identical inside the brain. A lion at a zoo represents real danger.
There's one more thing at work here. Humans anthropomorphize, constantly, automatically, unstoppably. If a dog looks guilty, we assume it feels guilt. If a cat looks annoyed, we assume annoyance. If a lion looks calm, some people unconsciously assume it's friendly. But animals are not furry humans. A lion can look completely relaxed moments before doing something very lion-like. Your brain is so good at reading emotions in human faces that it applies the same system to every face it encounters. A bear tilting its head slightly looks curious to you. To the bear, that means something completely different. And yet, despite all of this, the urge remains. Humans are the only species on Earth that regularly forms deep emotional bonds with members of completely different species. We bring animals into our homes. We give them names. We talk to them. We celebrate their birthdays. We tell them our problems. We grieve when they die. We spend billions of dollars every year caring for creatures that evolved completely separately from us. A brain built to notice life. A mind that seeks connection with the natural world. Instincts wired to nurture whatever looks vulnerable. A desire for touch, curiosity, and sometimes a little controlled chaos. All of it pushes us toward the same conclusion. Go say hello. Most of the time, that instinct is one of the best things about being human. It gave us dogs. It gave us cats. It gave us horses, parrots, rabbits, and every other animal that has ever shared a home with a human and made that home feel less empty. Every once in a while, it convinces someone to climb a fence at a zoo, which is why warning signs exist, and why somewhere on Earth right now, a perfectly intelligent adult is standing next to a bison the size of a small car, thinking, "He looks friendly."